Imagine a company like Deutsche Telekom. That's the company I work for. Deutsche Telekom is a global telco operator, not only in Germany, which the title Deutsche might imply, but we also are the mother company of T-Mobile in the United States and of 12 to 13 other companies across Europe. We have more than 160 million mobile phone customers, and they all call at times because even if you're the best telco in the world, your customers might have problems or don't understand their bills, whatever. So they call you. And that's a massive volume of customer care calls. And that's why people wait, because you cannot throw endless money on customer service. So this is exactly the problem we wanted to tackle. That sometimes not, let's say, optimum customer experience that people have if they have to wait, or even if they have waited and then they are passed on to the next service level because the first level support couldn't answer your question. That's exactly what we went out to improve. And how did we want to do that? We wanted to use artificial intelligence because we think, and some of you already mentioned that there's a large chunk of queries that our customers have that are very simple and highly repetitive. Could you please reset my password? Right? A large number of callers want that. Of course, you can do that on a web page by your own, but people don't do it. Or many people don't do it. So there's a large chunk of repetitive tasks you can automate away, and people might not have to wait in a service line to do that. By the way, do I click that myself? Yes, that's the one. Okay, thank you very much. Right, so that's what we started to do. And how are we doing that? We are a pretty large innovation project. Now we are one of the 5 core innovation or key innovation projects of Deutsche Telekom as a whole. We've been starting that initiative mid of 2015. I'll give you a little bit of the journey we have taken so far. And we are still at it. It's still not perfect, but we are working hard, and we are already out in the market, so we get actual customer feedback, how they like what we do. What are we doing? We are building chatbots and talkbots soonish that our customers can actually interact with for a number of issues and have them solved pretty easily and fast without human intervention. What happens if the chatbot comes to an end of its knowledge, which will always happen, we'll see in a minute too. All right. So now I have some slides. Bear with me that I don't have any graphs, charts, data, whatever. We try to be as lean on charts as we can because we try to work very agile and very, very fast in our innovation project. We are very distributed over locations. We are a virtual team located in different locations in Germany, and also, by the way, in the United Kingdom, pretty close to London, well in Garden City, we have a team sitting working on our project too. So we try to push the telco envelope. Our project is called eLIZA, and many or some of you might know where that comes from. I don't have to go any deeper. eLIZA in the 16th was one of the first chatbots ever. That somehow kind of passed the Turing test, if you like. Our project is about building an intelligent digital assistant, so not a chatbot that frustrates you, but a good digital assistant that is helping our customers via as human-like as feasible dialogue, as a vision, like a friend. So very human-like. And it has potential. Is that a laser? It works, great. It has, of course, potential now from a more business perspective far beyond service, because if you start to engage your customers in a service problem they have, you might even have the idea of trying to sell them additional stuff. So there might be a further business rationale behind it. What is our core belief? If you're setting up a digital assistant for customer service, it has to be right around the corner for everybody, right? So if you're a customer of a telco, you don't want to search for the digital assistant. It has to be everywhere, just right around the corner. So on every device, via any channel, so it has to be text capable, it has to be voice capable in the end. Of course, that's a vision. And we talk about artificial intelligence. It should learn. It should learn from the customers, do with them, and improve the way it's answering. That is interesting because everybody who is being told about, especially in business and not from academia, look, we are using artificial intelligence and machine learning networks for customer service. Everybody thinks, all right, it's done by itself. Great. You just feed it a couple of historic dialogues, and it builds up its knowledge and its capability to answer customers' questions by itself. Let's come back to that, because we're not there yet. Right, and what is our approach? We are piloting, as companies usually do, we are piloting in one spot. This is our subsidiary in Austria. We are live there already. We, as I said, work very much with our users in an agile development mode, and we collaborate across our company. Right, so that's the broad vision, if you like. What have we been doing during the course of 2016? You would have thought we take one AI system and we just start. But we are very, as I said, we are very focused on the customer. We did something different because there was already a rule-based chatbot, so not based on AI, but just on simple rules, keyword detection, and playing out a certain dialogue. That was already set up in Austria. So we took that and clearly focused only on customer service. We created some first touch points. Important, I'll come back to that, not only company touch points, but also third-party touch points, be there where your customer is. You see that, you might recognize that logo. I'm coming back to that. As I said, Austria. We dubbed the avatar, it also has a certain character. We dubbed it Tinka, it's a female name in the German speech regions. And we did this. We didn't implement an AI system, as I said, but we left the rule-based system in there and tried to see how far can we get in improving a rule-based chatbot by just tweaking the conversational interface. Of course, improving the dialogues, improving the media we use. We integrated video right into the chat flow. We integrated other moving images, so animated GIFs. We improved the way people could interact by, sounds very, very simple and basic, but by introducing buttons, so you don't have to type everything. That's something that Facebook only came up with last, I think, a bit more than one year ago, 1.5 years ago. And while we did that, and by the way, it vastly improved customer experience with that, and we measured that without using AI, we screened the whole market for solutions out there, artificial intelligence, vendors, startups, large companies that might help us, and actually then, at some point, exchanging the engine to give it a new level of intelligence. So that's what we focused on in 2016. That's what Tinka, that digital assistant in Austria, looks like, what it does, and some of its features. I'll pick out some. Of course, it's doing multi-stage dialogues. It's not just a search engine that spits out an answer, but it guides you through a dialogue, human-like as far as feasible. Of course, it has responsive design. It runs on mobile and on larger browsers. It gives you step-by-step tutorials. It uses, as I said, enriched media, e.g. video. And then one very important thing, it connects different pre-existing self-service touchpoints like a forum, FAQs, CRM data, everything that is needed to create a good answer or a good dialogue for a customer, so that our customers just have one-stop help, one touch point where they go to, and they always know where it is. And coming soon, we'll also integrate customer history, so that thing remembers you if you're logged in and knows, oh, do you still have the same problem, Jan? Can I guide you through that same thing again, or do you have another problem today? So that's more or less what we're currently doing with our rule-based Tinka. Right. What's currently, or what has happened already, we have that also, that's all out in the market, right? You can try it out, no problem. I'll give you a link. We do the same in Germany, and that's an interesting step, because in Germany alone we have 40 million mobile phone customers, so that's a big jump in system breadth. Right, so that's still Tinka in the rule-based world or version. As I said, it's a great one-stop help solution for our customers. And as I also said, there's lots of value if you really think about a product that people want to use. There's a lot of value in optimizing the customer experience or the user experience UX before you even start to introduce AI. That's pretty interesting. And why is that so? Because everybody's talking about chatbots as a new paradigm in human-machine interaction, but it's still pretty new compared to everything else we have in terms of breadth of use in the market. Web's websites and apps have been optimized over many, many years now, and now it kind of works nicely. Your apps work nicely. They seem to be elegant. They seem to do what you want. And that's not been the case a couple of years back. And the same with conversational interfaces. Of course, they've been around for quite some time. I talked about eLIZA in the 60s, but it's not been optimized with a broad set of users so far. So there's a lot to learn, and we did that. What people tend to forget, if you want to make that really work in a corporate or business environment, you need tooling. It needs to be efficient to feed new content to it, to make it work, because that content is constantly changing. We introduce new tariffs, new products. We learn that people are not very well helped with a certain dialogue. We have to change it. And all that has to be done, in the best of all worlds, by non-tech people, because the content is driven by our customer service agents or customer service specialists. So what you need is tooling to enrich the contents and everything else that doesn't feel like coding, but that feels like using a graphical user interface, for instance. Then, what happens with complex questions? Some of them the system can tackle because it's still finding a complex query a customer puts in the right keywords. But sometimes keywords are used with a negation, for instance. So I'm not interested in an iPhone. I'm looking for a Sony Xperia phone. What is a rule-based system doing? It's kind of tricky for the rule-based system to understand which phone I'm really looking for. So complex questions, some work, and some don't, right? Oops. Same with scaling content. As I said, it's rule-based. Everything you want that chatbot to know and to be able to answer to has to be done manually. It has to be plugged in manually. So scaling of content also kind of oops. We have the tooling, that's good, but it's still a manual process. So that's our key learnings from the rule-based Tinker. And one thing I have to mention, many companies usually want what companies often call control points. So they want to have control over what their customers do with them. And that's why they want to have their digital touch points on their premises, on their digital premises. And from the outset, we thought if we want to make that really working, we need to be where the customer is. And that is, for instance, Facebook. That's Tinker and Facebook Messenger. That's been live out on the market for quite some time. So Facebook's a good start, but as you know, there are many other places where people go to. Think of Amazon Alexa, think of Cortana, think of other places, other digital assistants where you want to hook in. So we're doing that too. Right. And then comes the next step. After searching the market and doing a very, very intricate or detailed evaluation of which external parties can help us in providing the next level of intelligence, so an AI machine that can make Tinker more intelligent. We started with more than 75. It was closer to 100 companies we broadly looked at, and then we had a funnel here, and we made proof of concepts with real data with 4 of them, and then we had one winner. And that winner, sorry, I cannot talk about names. That winner is the, you might imagine. That winner is now our new natural language understanding and dialogue management engine that has been plugged into our stack. The stack is, of course, roughly depicted here only, so very much simplified. But of course, we are collecting data. You can call it big data. It's a bit of a buzzword, but of course we do. We collect sources from customer journeys and everything into a big database and try to make that available and useful in a useful way for our digital assistant as much as we can. We haven't really touched all the potential we have there, but we're working at it, and some of that is realized already. So that's the engine here. And that is the thing really where companies differentiate currently in the market. We separated it from the speech-to-text and text-to-speech layer, which is kind of a commodity in the market. The only thing that not too many companies can is the breadth of languages in that. Then again, you're confined to a few partners again. So all of that is what we call Tinker's AI, and we have happy users already. Okay, so this is the setup, and the effect is that good old Tinka is actually growing more intelligent. She got smarter after that extensive look into the market. So, well, my depiction here, sorry, her head just got bigger, but she is actually cleverer now. And this is only the start of the journey. It looks slightly different now. We again worked on the user interface to accommodate for more flexibility in terms of showing stuff, showing pictures, and so forth. And really, you can see the first bits of a more human-like understanding. One example is, of course, that's German. Sorry, I would have loved to show you all that, but in both Germany and Austria, people do speak German, so the chatbot is only working in German, and that doesn't help you too much. I'll translate. This says, the iPhone is too expensive for me. Do you also have a Sony Xperia on offer? That's the complex question I talked about. And it's pretty hard for systems to figure out what the user really wants. And she can do that. That's our first step. You'll find the Sony Xperia in our online shop, and you get a deep link into the online shop right to the perfect space where you want to be. So that works. It doesn't work for every kind of negation or every kind of question so far. It's a pretty wide and complex field. But this is really where you can start to see the beauty of an AI system. And why do you need to see that? In the end, we're talking business here and not R&D. And of course, a rule-based system is far cheaper. There are more people in the world who can do that than a more intricate AI system. So we have to prove also that it's worth what we're doing. But it is worthwhile. The second, and maybe even bigger thing, is better dialogue steering based on a better dialogue comprehension. For instance, in a human dialogue, people refer back to things they've said a couple of steps before, and you readily expect your conversation partner to understand what you refer to because it's completely normal to humans. Let's go to a restaurant. Oh yes, I like food. Which one? Which restaurant? Not which food, right? This kind of relation has to be clear to the system in an ideal world. And there are other things, like if you, anaphoric relations, if you, references, anaphoric references. If you just use a pronoun for something, then the system has to recognize what you mean. You wouldn't even think about it in a human dialogue, but the system doesn't know. The system doesn't know. So you have to teach it all the way. And this is something I will come back to, because it really drives me. And 2 minutes? Okay, I'll be quick. We already get great feedback on that new system, while it has less features than the old rule-based system, because we just haven't had the capacity to plug everything in. So customers really like that new system. So it's wow, and more is to come. Now, and we do the same now. That was still Austria, right, the smaller country, and we are now moving with the same AI-based, not the same, but a similar AI-based system to our larger subsidiary in Germany. Right, and I promised in my little abstract also to, in the last minute, thank you, in the last minute, to provide you with some learnings also from the AI-based system, and also some thoughts on what could be the next AI nuts to crack. So everybody in the market expects full-on self-learning, as I explained early on. So just give it a couple of historic customer dialogues and it will learn dialogues by itself. It doesn't work. We haven't met anybody in the market who has a product that can do that. Secondly, you would think training data should be plentiful. Of course, we have tens of thousands of historic dialogues, no issue. They have to be cleansed, they have to be anonymized, they have to be annotated, and they have to be the right dialogues for the right system. And that is nothing you decide in the first one correctly, right? So there's a lot to learn and a lot to do to make a system trained well. Then thirdly, you would think that tooling, like having an interface to plug in new questions or intents or whatever it might be, is the easy part. That's standard programming. It is, but it's still in its infancy in many systems, right, that you find. And then what I talked about, comprehensive dialogue, understanding, like anaphoric references and stuff like that, is available in research. Probably most of you who are in speech recognition, you're moaning, I've heard that 20 years ago. You probably have heard it, I don't know when, in conferences, but it's still hard to find as a product, right? It's not being implemented because it hasn't been the first problem to solve. So there's still some stuff to do. Ouch. And now my napkin for the next nuts to crack. Training efficiency. I'm talking business context, and in a business context, you cannot only set up a system and hope it works, but you also have to make it work over years and improve it over work. So training efficiency, training a neural network efficiently is a major thing. You need to automate the annotation of raw data. You need to automate update of intents in the intent classifier because things do change and you don't want to do everything yourself manually. And finally, what I would love to see is a closed learning loop. You've got the natural language understanding, income of new data that the system is generating itself by making dialogues, and you feed that in after an automated cleansing and annotation and so forth back into the system. Currently not really existing. Then, I have learned that what we do, we mostly do intent classification with a deep neural network. That's like the easy bit of natural language understanding. There's far more intricate stuff. Of course, we do a bit more. There's some pre-processing, but a true natural language understanding is a bit broader, and we should go beyond that. That means we want to have more off-the-shelf dialogue comprehension. We would love to see also more attractive dialogue, long-tail answering. I won't go into that. Could be another minute. And then I talked about all these subsidiaries we have. That's a lot of Eastern European languages. It's English and it's German. And we would love to see a mechanism that enables a more efficient language transfer. If we build an ontology of things, for instance, of the telco domain, how can we transfer that into the next language easily? And finally, one thing that I must run into open doors with academia, I guess, open systems is, for the current phase of AI development, a key thing to make it really happen in the business world. Because there is no one party out there that can do everything best, and where a company like ours would go to and say, I just buy that. So we need open systems. We need APIs in that system, and those systems. That really would make us very, very happy. Thanks. And one more thing I have to say. If you want to learn more about what we do and the spirit of our team, how we drive it, how we go about things, please visit us at our blog, welove.ai. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. Well, go ask their questions over.